All right, so we have the symbol right here, 30 on the top left, -3 on the top right, and then the element is P. Okay, so first thing we want to find is protons. So we're going to go to the periodic table and find the protons for P. So I'll give you guys like 10 seconds, see if you guys can find P. It's on the right side. And if you think you know what the protons are, just jot it down on your paper. I'm going to go over the answer in a sec, but let's see if you guys remember. So we're looking for P. So if we look at P, how many protons does phosphorus have?
15.
Yeah, 15, just a number on the top. Okay. So since phosphorus on the periodic table has a 15 on top of the box, it's going to have 15 protons. Okay. So you guys might be sick of hearing protons now. We've been doing this for like 2 weeks now. But again, it's just a number on top of the box right here. Okay. Alrighty. So that's protons. Let's move on to neutrons now. So to find the neutrons, we need to use this number right here on the top left. If you guys remember, this number is called the mass number. And we get the mass number by adding the protons and the neutrons. Okay. So another way you could think about that is the isotope number. Okay, but we formally call it the mass number. Okay, so we got 15 protons and the mass number is 30. So if you guys remember, to find neutrons, it's really easy. It's just 30 minus the protons. So 30 minus 15 is 15. Okay. All right, let's move on to the electrons. This is what we learned last class. The electrons is -3, and not the electrons, the charge is -3. And if you guys remember the formula for charge is protons minus electrons. Okay. So you guys can use this formula if it makes sense to you, but I kind of like to think about it logically. So the number right here is negative, right? So if the number is negative, do we have more protons or more electrons? Yeah, more electrons, because remember, protons are positive and electrons are negative. If it's negatively charged, that means you have more electrons. Okay, and then the 3 just tells you how many more. So there's 3 more electrons than there are protons. So if we have 15 protons and we have 3 more electrons, that means we're just going to add 3. So it's going to be 18. So you'll have 18 electrons. And if you ever want to check your answer, just plug it into this equation. There's 15 protons minus 18 electrons, and that's going to give you -3. So that's a way you can check your work. Usually on the quizzes, just to make sure you got everything correct. Okay. Okay, 2 more boxes. These are pretty easy. We're going to write the isotope name. And to do that, we just take the name of P. P is phosphorus. And you can find that on the periodic table. We write a dash, and then we just write the mass number 30 up here. Okay, so the isotope name will be phosphorus 30. Phosphorus dash 30. And then for the last box, cation or anion, you just look at the charge. Since it's negative, it's going to be an anion. Remember, an is bad. An is negative. That's pretty much it. That's a review of pretty much everything we've learned so far this year. We're going to spend today practicing finding ions and stuff because until the test, basically all we're going to be doing is working with ions. And I want to make sure that you guys are comfortable with that. I'll give you a little more time to practice that. Okay. But before I get you started on number 2, do you guys have any questions? Okay. So I'll give you guys about 3 minutes. We're working backwards here. See if you guys can solve number 2 with the person next to you. It'll kind of show you how ready you are for your understanding of ions. We'll go over it and I'll get you started on your side. Okay, so take about 3 minutes to do that. Okay, so for this one, we're working backwards. We're taking the protons, neutrons, and electrons, and then we're finding the symbol. So let's start with the symbol. So it's 12 protons. So we'll go to the periodic table. Which element has 12 protons? Yeah, magnesium. So the symbol is going to be Mg. So we can write Mg, and then for the name, we can write magnesium. So Mg, and then the name is magnesium. All right, next we're gonna find the mass number. So to find the mass number, we need to add the protons and neutrons. So 12 plus 20, and that's going to give us 32. So you're gonna put a 32 on the top left. All right, next we're gonna find the charge. To find the charge, we go protons minus electrons. So 12 minus 10, so that's going to give us positive 2. So we put 2 plus on the top right. Okay, so whenever you guys are in doubt, just make sure you refer back to these two equations. It'll help you find the charge and the mass number. All right, last but not least, we're gonna take the mass number right here, 32, magnesium dash 32. And since it is a positive charge, it's going to be a cation. Okay. All right, any questions about that? Hopefully it's not too bad. It is review, but I did want to go through it just so you guys have a little extra practice.